mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. I will accept atonement for myself. For I remain as God created me. Only salvation can be said to cure. Only salvation can be said to cure. Speak to us, Father, that we may be healed. The only thing that can be surely known by any living thing is what it is. From this one point of certainty, it looks on other things as certain as itself. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Only salvation can be said to cure. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Thank you all so much for joining me today in studying A Course in Miracles. I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from my horse meadow here at my home place in the Ozarks. And let's see, we're ready for lesson 150 of our 365 lessons in A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version for Saturday, May the 30th of 2026. And this is a review of lesson 139 and 140, all under the context of my mind holds only what I think with God. Think of a fish net, and you're going down to catch a fish, and all the water goes through it, because that's not the fish. The fish is what you want in the net. Well, think of your mind as only being able to hold the fish, God. Kind of the symbol, the Christian symbol of the old ancient Roman symbol of the fish, the two arced lines. Anyway, think of. I'm just trying to tell you something to help you remember. But the idea is that the net catches the fish. It doesn't catch anything else. The water just goes on through. Well, let's let everything go through except God. Okay? That's our mind. That's our mind holds only what I think with God. You can think of yourself as a net. The only thing that you can catch is God thoughts. And then lesson 139, our review, I will accept atonement or atonement for myself. I will accept atonement for myself. And then lesson 140, only salvation can be said to cure. And in those lessons, back on lesson 139, you probably remember what we were to say to ourselves throughout the day. I will accept atonement for myself, for I remain as God created me. And the next day on lesson 140, or throughout the day, we were to tell ourselves, only salvation can be said to cure. Speak to us, Father, that we may be healed. And one of the, I just thought this was such a wonderful saying. I think it was in lesson 140. The only thing that can be surely known by any living thing is what it is. From this one point of certainty, it looks on other things as certain as itself. Maybe I should tell you, since I read it, which, if that's in page 140, or if that's lesson 140 or 139. Lesson 139, second paragraph. The only thing that can be surely known by any living thing is what it is. From this one point of certainty, it looks on other things as certain as itself. Well, so that's what we're trying to reach to, that self-realization, as Paramahansa Yogananda called it. We want to become aware of that, our true identity that's one with God. And let's see, and then we'll be able to look on everything with certainty, because we'll know who we are. We'll be knowing. We'll be Gnostics. Let's see, what else? Was there anything else I wanted to tell you about that? I think that's probably good for now. Let's go back and look in our text reading. You know, to be our last day of review of these lessons. And then we'll go on to the next, our next lesson, which won't be a review, is what I'm trying to say. Today, let's go look in chapter 16, new chapter, chapter 16, the forgiveness of illusions, and Roman numeral 1, true empathy. And as you're turning there, if you're reading through the original edition with me this year, out of A Course in Miracles, read chapter 16, Roman numeral 8. The forgiveness of illusions is chapter 16 in the original edition also. Roman numeral 8, the end of illusions. And we spent 2 days on that, so there'll be your second day. And then if you're reading through the Bible with me, read 2 Corinthians chapter 1. And if you're reading through Iyengar Yoga, read page 184 through 186, which is the downward facing dog pose. And if you're reading out of A Course of Love, read in the treatise number 3, chapter 15. I told you 14 yesterday, but I did say the right name, The New Beginning. We're going to spend 2 days on that, yesterday and today. It's page 321 through 324. So read that. Okay, now let's look at the forgiveness of illusions, as we keep in mind all day today. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. True empathy. To empathize does not mean to join in suffering, for that is what you must refuse to understand. That is the ego's interpretation of empathy, and is always used to form a special relationship in which the suffering is shared. The capacity to empathize is very useful to the Holy Spirit, provided you let Him use it in His way. His way is very different. He doesn't enter into suffering to share it with them and to lighten their load by sharing some of their pain. That'd be the belief in sacrifice, or thinking that you have to have a little pain in order to make some gain, in order to make it to heaven. We're going beyond the idea of sacrifice. His way is very different. The Holy Spirit's way is different. He does not understand suffering, and would have you teach it is not understandable. When He relates through you, He does not relate through your ego to another ego. He does not join in pain, understanding that healing pain is not accomplished by delusional attempts to enter into it and lighten it by sharing the delusion. Paragraph 2. The clearest proof that empathy as the ego uses it is destructive lies in the fact that it is applied only to certain types of problems and in certain people. These it selects out and joins with, and it never joins except to strengthen itself. Having identified with what it thinks it understands, the ego sees itself and would increase itself by sharing what is like itself. Make no mistake about this maneuver. The ego always empathizes to weaken. Make no mistake about this maneuver. The ego always empathizes to weaken. It joins in the suffering of the selected sufferers that it wants to suffer with, and to the degree that it wants to suffer. There's nothing clear cut about it. It's just a constellation born out of its own thinking. It doesn't have any reality and truth because it's an illusion. Make no mistake about this maneuver. The ego always empathizes to weaken, and to weaken is always to attack. That's what attack is, to weaken someone. You do not know what empathizing means, yet of this you may be sure. If you will merely sit quietly by and let the Holy Spirit relate through you, you will empathize with strength and will gain in strength and not in weakness. And those 4 words, merely sit quietly by, might be some of the best words. I use them a lot. Maybe I should just say it that way. Merely sit quietly by. You learn as we go on the path that we can be better at empathizing if we don't do anything. I first learned, I used to have to jump in and try to help people by telling them stuff, and then one day I thought, well, maybe I should just be quiet and just listen more. And I was amazed that when I did this first time, the person I was trying this with told me I hadn't seen the person for quite a while, and they told me on the phone a day or two later, said, Will, it was really nice having you be so good at listening. I didn't really think that I was doing any better than I usually listen, but I usually offered a lot of comments. Well, it turned out that more was less. Being quiet and still and, saying the right thing at the right time. But that's what the Holy Spirit will be able to have you do when you're a good listener, because you'll be empathizing with strength and not with weakness. So let's read that again. You do not know what empathizing means, yet of this you may be sure. If you will merely sit quietly by and let the Holy Spirit relate through you, you will empathize with strength and will gain in strength and not in weakness. Paragraph 3. Your part is only to remember this. You do not want anything you value to come of a relationship. Whoa. Then, boy, that's a different look at things, isn't it? Most of us have been in relationships because we thought, well, I sure like that person for this or that or whatever. But he's saying, your part is only to remember this. You do not want anything you value to come of a relationship. You choose neither to hurt it nor to heal it in your own way. You do not know what healing is. All you have learned of empathy is from the past, and there is nothing from the past you would share, for there is nothing from the past that you would keep. Do not use empathy to make the past real and so perpetuate it. Step gently aside and let healing be done for you. Keep but one thought in mind and do not lose sight of it. However tempted you may be to judge any situation and to determine your response by judging it, focus your mind only on this. I am not alone, and I would not intrude the past upon my guest, the Holy Spirit, your guest. I have invited him, and he is here. I need do nothing except not to interfere. And we'll try to include that in our song. if we have enough time. True empathy is of him who knows what it is. You will learn his interpretation of it if you let him use your capacity for strength and not for weakness. He will not desert you, but be sure that you desert not him. Humility is strength in this sense only, that to recognize and to accept the fact that you do not know is to recognize and accept the fact that he does know. You are not sure that he will do his part because you have never yet done yours completely. You cannot know how to respond to what you do not understand. Be tempted not in this, and yield not to the ego's triumphant use of empathy for its glory. So he's saying, we want to have that place where we started with lesson 1. I do not know what anything means. But in order for it to be true humility, we have to also have the idea that God does know what he wants us to have and that his is wisdom. In other words, we don't know, but he does know, and he is intimately involved in communicating to us. If we'll do our lesson today, my mind holds only what I think with God and only catch his thoughts as we're empathizing. Paragraph 5. The triumph of weakness is not what you would offer to a brother, and yet you recognize no triumph but this. This is not knowledge. This is not Gnosticism or knowing. This is not knowledge, and the form of empathy which would bring this about is so distorted that it would imprison what it would release. The unredeemed cannot redeem, yet they have a Redeemer. Attempt to teach him not. Don't try to teach God. Go it the other way around. Let God teach you. Attempt to teach him, capital H, him not. You are the learner, he the teacher. Do not confuse your role with his, for this will never bring peace to anyone. Offer your empathy to him, for it is his perception and his strength that you would share. And let him offer you his strength and his perception to be shared through you. 6. The meaning of love is lost in any relationship that looks to weakness and hopes to find love there. The power of love, which is its meaning, lies in the strength of God that hovers over it and blesses it silently by enveloping it in healing wings. Let this be, and do not try to substitute your miracle for this. And the word miracle's in quotes because it's not really a miracle. You might contrive that you think you need this and this is what they need, and you're going to give them to them to be empathetic, and that's the miracle you're going to offer. But just be still and quiet and let what God has flow through you. And your part, remember, your part is only to remember this. You do not want anything you value to come of a relationship. Jesus puts everything in a new perspective, doesn't he? I have said that if a brother asks a foolish thing of you, to do it. But be certain that this does not mean to do a foolish thing that would hurt either him or you. For what would hurt one will hurt the other. Foolish requests are foolish merely because they conflict, since they always contain some element of specialness. Only the Holy Spirit recognizes foolish needs as well as real ones. And he will teach you how to meet both without losing either. And the last paragraph, paragraph 7. You will attempt to do this only in secrecy, and you will think that by meeting the needs of one, you do not jeopardize another because you keep them separate and secret from each other. That is not the way, for it leads not to life and truth. That's that disassociation idea. We want to walk in the light and let everything be seen. No secret, hidden motives, or secret, hidden anything. No needs will long be left unmet if you leave them all to him whose function is to meet them. Again on that, no needs will long be left unmet if you leave them all to him whose function is to meet them, the Holy Spirit. That is his function and not yours to meet needs. He will not meet them secretly, for he would share everything you give through him. That is why he gives it. What you give through him is for the whole sonship, not for part of it. Leave him his function, for he will fulfill it if you but ask him to enter your relationships and bless them for you. Okay, well, are we asking for God to enter into our relationships by saying my mind holds only what I think with God, and then letting him bless everyone, all our relationships, through him working through us instead of us doing it? My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Well, let's empathize with strength instead of with weakness, so that we can actually offer miracles and blessings to others. Okay, let's see what's going on around the world today. I think it's still Eid al-Adha, the festival of sacrifice for the Islamic people. Out of holidays and observances, International Hug Your Cat Day, the Felis Catus, and I've got some baby kittens. If anybody wants a good vibe cat, I'd sure love to give them away. So send me a link, give me a call if you know my number. They're ready to go, potty trained and everything. I'd even pay to get them fixed if you wanted to have that done, even though I sure don't like doing that. But a lot of people feel like that's important, and I see why it's important. I've got a bunch of kittens that they're good to get rid of now. It'll be a little harder later. They're pretty good cats, though. Malcolm Loomis Day. Malcolm Loomis Day. He received the first patent for the wireless telegraphy in 1872, I think. Mr. Bucket's, my bucket's got a hole in it day. Creativity Day. Mint Julep Day. Bourbon, sugar, and mint. Doesn't sound like it'd be all that good for you. Water Flower Day. Now that'd be good for the flower and you. World MS Day, Multiple Sclerosis Day. And let's talk a little more about the Docus carota, the carrot. The root is what we use for the cultivated varieties, and the seed for the wild ones, Queen Anne's lace. Properties, anthelmintic, which is a wormer. Carminative, diuretic, and a stimulant. Carrot soup is good for diarrhea and from people suffering from stomach and intestinal problems. Actually sounds good. Cook down some carrots until you make a soup. Raw carrots are a wormer against roundworms. It says eat 2 or 3 every day for several days. Probably could take carrot juice also. Carrot juice helps in acidity and heartburn, and carrots are a good diuretic. And out of edible landscaping, we're going to talk about apples for a while, and the first one is named after me, William's Pride. I've named after it. I imagine it's older than me. It's been around for longer than this William has been in this body. William's Pride apple. Early maturing, attractive, dark red apple with excellent tart fruit quality and immunity to apple scab, extremely resistant to cedar apple rust and fire blight. Two things that are a real problem in the Ozarks. They finish that cedar apple rust finishes its life cycle on a cedar tree, and we have cedars all over the place. So, you're gonna have cedar apple rust. So if you can get one that's immune, the William's Pride, that's a good one to grow. That's what I like about the Arkansas Black. It's also immune to that. For an out-of-hand apple, this is the best for so early in the season. It blooms over a long span and produces annually, zones 4 through 8. Okay, the Malus domestica, and thank you, Edible Landscaping, for that information. Okay, well, let's close with our song. Oh, our word for peace today, we're going to take it from our Norwegian brothers that also settled Greenland. And the word they use in Norwegian for peace is "Fred be with you." And it's common language in Greenland, too. There's another language in Greenland that we'll probably talk about maybe tomorrow. Okay. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself, for I remain as God created me. I will accept atonement for myself. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Speak to us, Father, that we may be healed. Only salvation can be said to cure. And then out of our text, your part is only to remember this: you do not want anything you value to come of a relationship. Keep but one thought in mind, and do not lose sight of it. However tempted you may be to judge any situation and determine your response by judging it, focus your mind only on this: I am not alone, and I would not intrude the past on my guest. I am not alone, and I would not intrude the past on my guest. I have invited him, and he is here. I need do nothing except not to interfere. I am not alone, and I would not intrude the past. I would not intrude the past on my guest. I have invited him, and he is here. I need do nothing except not to interfere. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Well, thank you all again for joining me out here in my horse meadow. And until tomorrow, be sure to do your longer practice periods. Take 10 minutes that I'd encourage you to take, or longer. And sit in the morning and in the evening with the idea: my mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. And then all through the day, every hour of the day, bring that idea to your mind. And be at peace. And as they say in the Norwegian tongue of Denmark, Fred be with you. My mind holds only what I think with God. I will accept atonement or atonement for myself. Only salvation can be said to cure. Fred.